Hello and thanks for joining us. This is The World Now. We start off in Africa, where thousands of Sudan's displaced persons have been reported to be at risk of facing famine. UN humanitarians gave the warning as they echoed condemnation by the UN Secretary General of an attack on a village south of Khartoum that reportedly left more than 100 dead. We'll have more in this report.
Millions of residents of Sudan have been reported to be at risk of famine as hunger continues to stalk the people. UN humanitarians, amongst other agencies, are still calling for an end to the conflict in Sudan. Regional spokesperson for West and Central Africa, Alpha Said Bar, highlighted the effect the war's had on residents.
You've seen people coming on a daily basis by dozens in a very, very bad shape. And most of them are women, children who have experienced an unimaginable trauma.
Briefing journalist in Geneva from Port Sudan, Mohamed Rifat, the UN Migration Agency's chief of mission in the country, speaks on the report on violent attacks and casualties in the village of Wad al-Noura. The attack was reportedly carried out by the RSF and believed to have killed over 100 people, including at least 35 children, drawing condemnation from UN Chief Antonio Guterres and UN's Children's Fund head, Catherine Russell.
For the UN, Al-Fashir is inaccessible, either cross-line or cross-border. We have all seen the horrific news coming from the small village of Wad al-Nour. We are also hearing of truly horrifying reports of violent attacks and casualties in the villages of Wad al-Noura in Al Jazeera state. Some 12 million have been forced to flee their homes in Sudan, with over 2 million crossing borders into neighboring countries, mainly Chad, South Sudan, and Egypt, often arriving in extremely vulnerable conditions and highly traumatized. Last year, IOM teams have recorded a threefold increase in Sudanese taking dangerous, irregular migration corridors into Libya, Tunisia, onward to Europe. As we speak now, we have an unconfirmed reports about 2,000 families are stranded in hard conditions, including migrants between the borders between Egypt, Libya, and Sudan.
At another flashpoint of the conflict in North Darfur's capital, El Fasher, in Sudan's west, some 800,000 civilians are still in danger amid intensified fighting between the Sudanese armed forces and the rival rapid support forces. Speaking on refugees' basic needs such as shelter, food, access to education for children, and psychological support has become increasingly challenging due to funding shortfalls. UNHCR said that the response plan for 5 neighboring countries hosting those who have fled Sudan for a total of $1.4 billion is only 9% funded. The humanitarian response inside Sudan remains only 16% funded. Meanwhile, the UN Health Agency has sounded alarm over their health situation in the country, which has been further aggravating the humanitarian crisis. Similarly, the WHO has warned of a record number of measles cases as vaccination rates declined due to the conflicts. The World Health Organization added that cholera, malaria, and dengue are also on the rise as the agency expressed concern over the lack of treatment for people suffering from chronic conditions such as diabetes, hypertension, heart diseases, and kidney failure.